Hello and welcome to today's beach cast called Why You're Not Loved Up or Married Yet. So my name is Katherine Baldwin, if you don't know me, and I'm an author and a dating, relationships and love coach. And I'd really like to talk to you about why you're not married or why you're not loved up yet. So the first thing I want to say is that I don't have the answers. I'm sorry to say that I don't have the answer to that question, but the wonderful thing is that you have the answer to that question. You have the answer to that question inside you. And all you need to do is to pause, is to take some time, and is to take some time to understand yourself and to get to know yourself. So, as I say, I don't have the answers, but I have a lot of suggestions based on my own experience. So as some of you know, I took many wrong turns, or many turns, not all of them wrong. They all led me somewhere. I took many turns before I fell in love and got engaged last March this year. And I believe that many of the experiences that I went through are useful to you. Particularly to women in their late 30s, in their early 40s and 50s, who may have had wonderful careers, fantastic jobs, probably still have those wonderful careers and fantastic jobs, but who haven't found love yet. And you know, one of the reasons I hadn't found love, here are a few of them. I hadn't learned to love myself. I hadn't learned to value myself. I hadn't actually taken the time to get to know myself and to understand myself, to know who I was deep, deep down. Once I'd taken off all the layers and the masks and all the things I was doing to please others because I thought that's how I was supposed to be. So once I understood myself and got to know myself, once I understood that I needed to live by the beach, to be free in that sense, to swim in the sea as I did this morning. Once I really got in touch with my authentic self, that's when I slowly began to love myself, value myself, and to fall in love. Another thing that I did was that I ran away from relationships that were good for me. So I was scared of commitment, I was scared of intimacy, I was scared of love. And that fear went way back. It went way back to the days when my dad left when I was 8 years old, my parents divorced, my dad moved out. And that and other circumstances from my childhood taught me that love equals loss, love equals pain. Love is something that I really don't want to do again because it really, really hurts. And that was a thought that lodged deep in my subconscious. And those thoughts that get lodged really deeply when we're really young, they're very hard to shift. And they're actually really difficult to know that they're there. We go through our lives carrying out these behaviours without really understanding them. And what do I mean by those behaviours? Well, sometimes we're drawn to people who aren't good for us because we don't actually value ourselves and we don't actually want a relationship to work out because it terrifies us. Or we run away from people who are good for us because we're terrified of commitment and intimacy and love. And we don't really know we're doing this. We just keep doing it over and over again until we pause, until we stop, until we get in touch with what it is deep inside us that's blocking us from love. We judge and we criticise those who we get close to, those who we're going out with. I certainly did that. Came up with all manner of reasons why a relationship wasn't going to work out. Because I was scared. I was scared of commitment. I was scared of intimacy. I was scared of losing myself in relationship. So I was fiercely independent. I had relationships, but I never really let go in them. I never really let myself go, let myself fall in love. I never really opened my heart. There was always something else. There was my career. There was a reason why it wouldn't work out. So that was my fear. So sometimes we don't actually know it's there, and we judge and we criticize and we come up with reasons why it's not going to work out because we're afraid. You know, and what I did was I focused on my work, on my career. That was so much easier, and I think for many women who are really successful and good at their jobs, it's so much easier to do the work stuff, and we do it really well, and we do it brilliantly, and sometimes perfectly, and sometimes to our own detriment. But the love stuff, it gets left to the side. We don't have time. We think we don't have time. The fact is we don't make time because maybe we're scared. Maybe we don't think we can do it. Maybe we're scared of choosing. That's another thing that I was frightened of. I was frightened of choosing one person. You know, I've always struggled with decisions, but particularly in relationships. If I choose this one person, then I can't choose anybody else. So that's my choice. And choices like that, they always bring loss because you gain something but you lose something. So I was scared of choice. I wanted to read something to you that I read in The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie, and it really spoke to me. The Language of Letting Go is a daily meditation book. Melody Beattie is a wonderful writer. So she's talking about intimacy. She says, and you know, I could have written this myself. In fact, so many of these things I've written in my book, How to Fall in Love, 10-Step Journey to the Heart. So she talks about many of us have deeply ingrained patterns for sabotaging relationships. Some of us may instinctively terminate a relationship once it moves to a certain level of closeness or intimacy. I definitely did that. When we start to feel close to someone, we may zero in on one of the person's character defects, then make it so big it's all we can see. Yes, I definitely did that. We may withdraw or push the person away to create distance. We may start criticising the other person, a behaviour sure to create distance. Yes, I definitely did that. I criticised the other person out loud, in my head a lot, but out loud too, and that definitely creates distance. We may start trying to control the person, a behaviour that prevents intimacy. Yes, I try to control. I could try to control my partner now, before I let go and before I let him be the man who he is rather than the man I wanted him to be. And then I fell in love when I stopped controlling. We might tell ourselves we don't want or need another person or smother the person with our needs. So we might be fiercely independent or too dependent, which also pushes people away. Sometimes we defeat ourselves by trying to be close to people who aren't available for intimacy, people with active addictions or people who don't choose to be close to us. So that was so true of my story, being drawn to people who had active addictions. I am recovering from an eating disorder and other addictive behaviours myself. So I was very drawn to that person who had active addictions because it was very familiar. But someone with active addiction isn't present and can't be available for intimacy. Sometimes we choose people with particular faults so that when it comes time to be close, we have an escape hatch. And that's because we're afraid, as I said earlier. We're afraid and we fear losing ourselves. We're afraid that closeness means we won't be able to own our power to take care of ourselves. So a lot of the things she talks about, I am so familiar with, and I did all those things, the criticising, the judging, the running away, the coming up with reasons why it wouldn't work out. I've written all this in my book, How to Fall in Love, a 10-Step Journey to the Heart, and I'm really sharing the love this week. I have the Kindle version of the book available for 99p. So if you'd like that, I'll put a link at the bottom of this, and the paperback is also available. Yeah, and I also have a Facebook group called Being Real, Becoming Whole. So if you're interested in exploring these topics, exploring your blocks, exploring why you're not living an authentic, wholehearted life, do come and join us. It's called Being Real, Becoming Whole, because I believe that journey to relationship, that journey to love is all about authenticity. It's all about wholehearted living. It's about becoming as whole as we possibly can, so that we're not desperate for somebody to fill us, to give us what we're not giving to ourselves. So it's about giving ourselves what we can in order to fill ourselves up from the inside. I talk about the inner oak tree in my book, so nurturing our inner oak and our core strength. So if you're interested in talking about those topics, come and join my free Facebook group, Being Real, Becoming Whole, if you're not already in it. If you are in it, thank you for being in it. And I also just wanted to say I have a course starting on June the 12th How to Fall in Love, a 6-week journey to the heart. It's based around my book. It's a small group of like-minded women, 10 maximum, and I take you on a journey. You go on a journey. You go inside, you step inside, you explore your authentic self, your blocks to love, your blocks to intimacy, your blocks to commitment. You let go of past relationships. You look at your usual type and where you might have been going wrong. And you build your confidence and your self-esteem. And we do that in a group, and there are group coaching calls. So that is starting on June the 12th, and I'll put a link below here. I have an early bird price that's open until this Friday. So if you'd like to talk about that, I know making an investment is a big deal. So do drop me a line, drop me a message, we can have a chat, drop me an email, I'll put my details below. So yeah, why you're not married yet, why you're not loved up yet. As I say, you have your answers, and my approach is about helping you to find your answers. But if I can help with some of my answers, then I would be delighted to. If I can help share my self-sabotaging behaviours, the way I focused on my career and didn't leave time for romance because I was scared of being hurt. I put blocks in the way, I criticised, I judged. If you're doing any of those things, come and join the group, Being Real, Becoming Whole, share about them, or have a think about my course. And yeah, if you'd like to take my Kindle book for 99p, that's available this week as I'm sharing the love. I'll just show you a copy of the book. Here it is, just to show that it exists. How to Fall in Love, a 10-step journey to the heart. So I'm kneeling on the beach, which is my natural habitat. I was in the sea this morning, went for a swim, and I am living my dream in so many ways. I still have my struggles, I still have my difficulties, but I am in love, engaged. I have written a book, and I swam in the sea this morning, and I live by the beach. And it's all about courageous choices, authentic, courageous choices, being you, being real, becoming whole, trusting yourself and trusting that you have the courage, that you have the courage and the ability to act in your best interests, to break down those barriers to love, to understand what might be blocking you and what might be getting in the way. If I can help in any way, I'd be absolutely honoured to do that. I'm really excited about this work. So I'll leave it there, and sending love from the beach, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon for another Beach Cast. Bye.